Hi everyone, we're here for a roundtable chat with Generator for Newcastle University's Creative Careers 2021 event. I'm Pipa Morgan and this is Chyaro Hilton, and
Hi.
we're Newcastle University music students at placement with Generator. Hannah, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself and what your current role is at Generator?
Sure. I'm Helen Matterson. I am the CEO at Generator. I've been here for about 10 months now. My role is to kind of set a vision for the organisation. So Generator is predominantly a music talent development agency. We've been around for 30 years now, helping to support artists from across the North East and the wider music industry to take the next steps in their careers, whichever way they may be going. We also have a kind of digital arm to what we do and some business support stuff as well. So that's who we are, but that's what we do. Yeah, like I said, we've got a really good team here, and our aim is to support artists from across the North East to achieve what they want to with their careers within music.
Just another part of that, how is your role now different to other roles you've had in the music industry?
My experience in terms of working in music has been largely on the event side of things. So I've run music festivals, I've put gigs on, but also my background is working in the kind of wider cultural sector, and I've got a lot of experience in developing partnerships, working with funders and developing kind of arts programs. So it's kind of a very wide range of skills that I've got to my role right now.
Mick, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yep, sure. I'm Mick Ross. I'm the CFO of the organisation, which means primarily I'm overall responsible for the finances of the organisation, which includes all the exciting stuff like setting budgets, reporting to the board for management accounts, reporting to our funders, and I do quite a lot of work alongside Hannah and Nick on not just the vision for the organisation, but kind of planning where the money's best spent and kind of what parts of the programme it goes to.
And how is that different to other things you've done in the music industry so far?
Well, it's definitely not playing in a band and going on tour. So, primarily, like over the past 20 years, I've worked from writing kind of soundtrack music to touring with a band around the world, to producing music, to running recording studios, putting festivals on. And somehow I ended up doing accounts, which is obviously a big switch. But when I got approached to work for the organisation, it was from the music background. But the previous CEO was aware that I'd ran companies for a number of years as well. So it's really great to be able to work in a creative organisation that I can utilise kind of both skill sets.
Nick, do you want to go next?
So my role is Hannah sets the vision for the organisation, and together she and Mick set the financial strategy in conjunction with the board of sort of big picture, where we're going, what we're going to spend our money on, where the money's going to come from. And then it's my job to kind of turn that into things that are actually deliverable on a day-to-day basis and support the rest of the team in making sure that happens, and kind of making sure that everyone's got everything they need to get their job done at the best of their ability, and making sure everyone's fine and having a good time. Look after kind of operational stuff like building event planning spreadsheets with Sarah, or a bit of jack of all trades in the organisation, I guess.
What saw your background before Generator then?
Kind of split really. So in terms of music, I mean, the biggest distinction working for Generator is that I actually get paid, which I've very rarely been previously for anything I've done in music. I've worked as an engineer, I've worked as a tour manager, I've played in bands for 20 odd years. I've never toured the world like Mick, because I'm not as talented as he is. But side by side with that, I started out working as like a web developer when I was 18. I've done bits of kind of business support and systems analysis and digital adoption stuff, which obviously fits with the other side of what Generator does. Like working here is kind of, I get to do the fun stuff that I enjoy, and also the kind of serious career-y stuff that I've always done, which is kind of cool.
Alex, do you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the marketing manager at Generator.
And kind of, as Nick said, we get to sort of wear lots of different hats because we're quite a small team, which is really nice. I enjoy that aspect of it. So not only do I do all the digital marketing and comm stuff, so whether that's writing press releases to go out into publications and newspapers, to running our social media accounts, to making sure that we're basically shouting about everything that we're doing and getting it out there so that everyone knows what we're doing. As well as that, I run some networking events every 2 weeks for Digital Union, and yeah, we get to do quite a lot of different things. Video content. I'll be editing this, for example. Yeah, that's what I do.
Cool. And what did you do before this then?
So before this, long story short, I went to uni for 2 months, dropped out of uni. Wasn't for me. I found a job working in social media, which I never knew could be a job until after I'd left university. And from then, I then set up a social media marketing agency, which I ran for 2 years. And that basically got me the skills and the network to get my job here. So it worked out really well.
Sarah, do you want to tell us about yourself?
Hiya. So I'm the admin and events coordinator for Generator. And what that kind of means is that I'm responsible for developing and helping to deliver the event programs we have across our organisation. So from the music side of things and also from our business side of things as well. Some of these events kind of include stuff like masterclasses, presentations, workshops, webinars, networking events, and when live gigs are kind of a thing again, and we're allowed to have them, we run like a small multi-venue festival that showcases local artists. Aside from that, I also kind of give admin support. So making sure that we've got all our paperwork completed, doing reports and managing inquiries and stuff, and also sort of organising our events calendar as an overall.
And how did you get to where you are then? What did you do before this?
Before this, I was working for an events and promotion company in the Northeast. I got that from being an intern when I was studying music performance at college. The work that I've done before has kind of been, it's been more focused around working with sort of artists outside the region, as well as, you know, kind of international artists as well. And a lot of that's been kind of on venue gigs and festivals and general artist promotion stuff. But I think I sort of found in that work that I was always more interested in the work that we were doing with local artists. So that felt like the right kind of avenue for me to move into working with Generator, because I had more, I guess, of an invested interest in local artists.
Last but not least, Helen, do you want to go now?
Hello, I'm the talent development manager. I've only been here for a month, but my role is to find ways to support people in the Northeast in the music industry, and I do that through the programmes we deliver and through partnering with other talent development managers around the UK. And support people through creating opportunities for them, finding out what they need and how we can facilitate and help in that. Like Sarah was saying, we do events, networking events, small festival programs like masterclasses and workshops and things. So all that stuff is, I have to find out what it is that we can put in place for people that people want to actually attend, and then deliver it. And before this, my background is more the event side of stuff. So I've worked in festival production and event coordinating, and I've done a lot of promotion, gig promotion. So as a career side of things, that's what I did in the music industry. But aside from that, I'm also in bands. So I've been touring, working with small DIY labels, helping support artists put their own releases out, things like that. So a bit like Nick and Mick, in that if I've been doing another job, I've maybe also done like tour managing or gigging alongside it. It's just always been like a constant background thing that I've dabbled in. So yeah, that's what I bring into this job, is my experience of the industry from like different perspectives, I suppose.
Lovely, thanks guys. So I'm sure, as you all experience, it's sometimes difficult to get your foot through the door when you're in the kind of creative sector. So I was just wondering, how did you make yourself stand out when you've applied to these kind of jobs? Sarah, do you want to go first?
The angle I kind of came from was sort of similar to what Helen was talking about earlier, and actually that I pushed a lot the fact that it wasn't just a job in an industry that I was interested in working in. Actually, like, I have a personal passion for it. You know, I'm a musician myself, and actually my personal and social life revolve around live music, and particularly live music in the Northeast. So actually I have a genuine invested interest. That's always a good driving force behind, you know, trying to get involved in anything.
Cool. And are there any like major challenges you faced when you were starting your career?
I think there was some difficulty in the fact that actually, particularly when I was at college, I didn't know the roles that I've done over the past kind of 4 years actually existed. I almost needed to be really open to learning everything as I went along, and kind of soaking in as much information as possible. And I also think on a kind of personal level, like there's quite a close community in a lot of the creative industries in the Northeast, I think particularly in the music industry. So I think a challenge is sometimes in developing a confidence in sort of networking and getting to know new people, and being comfortable in doing that is always, it kind of puts you in a good position with lots of people. So, and that was something I previously wasn't that confident at doing. So kind of the more I did it, the more comfortable it became.
Great, thank you. And Alex, how did you make yourself stand out, and did you face any major challenges?
Yes, definitely. I'll start with the first question. So the great thing about this industry is the fact it's in the name, it's creative. And so to make yourself stand out, you have to be creative. You have to show that side of you, which is, I know it sounds obvious, but for me personally, like for example, when I applied for Generator, I didn't send in a standard cover letter and CV. I sent in a video that I made using a software, I think it was called Scribe. And basically you can design it so that you could have a hand that was drawing pictures as you did a voiceover. And it was just a really cool, creative way of introducing yourself. And I used that to sort of introduce myself and what I had done in the past and what I was looking for. And people loved it because it stood out. It wasn't just a standout. It wasn't just a standard cover letter. And I think that's really important when you're applying for something in a creative industry. Apply it like a creative. Don't just apply sort of as another CV and cover letter, because as I say, employers are going to be opening hundreds of those. You want to make sure that you stand out amongst that. In terms of challenges, for me, my personal challenge was that I was very young when I started in this industry. I was 18, and that in itself was a challenge because, as Sarah said, you don't get taught that these things exist in school. So I was very lucky because my mum was in the industry. So she's the one who actually enabled me to get my first connections, which enabled me to then get my first job, which then was a spiral effect onto everything else that I did. So my first challenges, it was definitely trying to sort of, you had to start from scratch, and you've got to build a network by going to events. And even if it's obviously right now, we can't go to events, but going to online events and just building your network, and people build trust with you, even if you are 18 or if you're 25 or whatever. That doesn't matter anymore, as long as you can go out there and just really start to connect with people and have those conversations. And it pays off in the long run. It took a long time for me, but it paid off in the long run.
Oh, great, thank you. Helen, do you have any thing to add?
To stand out when applying to jobs, I kind of would try and get across my passion for the industry, like Alex and Sarah both said. In essence, is just like, you know, showing that you've got an invested interest, but also trying to show other things that you can bring that are unique to the role. So I haven't always just worked in the creative industry, so trying to get across that I've got another set of skills that maybe you don't see every day that are useful and they could be applied. So I've worked in like charity work and social care and all these different public facing jobs, and it's like this, essentially this is all about being personable and like networking and connecting with people. So how would those skills that I've got apply to this role? That's something that I've always tried to get across. Challenges that I've faced, I mean, I think as we've both touched on that, but coming in at the level that I have without any formal education, I suppose, in a sense. I don't have like a degree in event management or a degree in anything that's remotely creative. And I think as well, when I started getting into the music industry and decided that's a job that I wanted, wasn't many women doing it either. So again, applying to jobs and showing that I have that experience from a female perspective has, I think, benefited me a lot, because it's something that I've carved a career and a position for myself based on not seeing anybody else like me doing the roles that I wanted to do. So yeah, I suppose just trying to show what you've got that nobody else has.
So yeah, sticking on sort of the skills discussion, because I think that will be really useful for the students listening to this, to see what sort of careers they could make out of their skills in the creative industry. I was just going to ask you, Hannah, what sort of skills do you think you have that make you good for your role and like suitable for it, so they could know what sort of thing they could go into with the skills that they have?
I think a lot of what my role is about is being a good communicator. Not only do I have to manage a team, who I'm very lucky that they're all great to manage, but also kind of have to work with different levels. So I have to report to our board, I've got to work with external partners, I've got to work with funders, I've got to work with artists, and I've got to be able to adapt my language or the way that I'm trying to communicate with those different audiences at different times. I've got to show leadership. The way in which you show that needs to be different than kind of standing out and saying, I am the best person at doing this thing and I am going to push forward with my thoughts and my opinions and this is how we're going to do it. I take a kind of holistic approach to things. I want people to have their voices heard and we can make those decisions collectively as a team, but based on a kind of vision that I have for the organisation. And I guess kind of having the knowledge as well. I don't know whether knowledge is classed as a skill in this instance, but having kind of some contextual knowledge about the industry that you're working in and making sure that you kind of know your stuff really, so that you know that what you're doing is definitely the right thing. I think being able to work in a team is really important across any role. I think everyone in our team will say that, you know, we are always in each other's pockets when it comes to delivering a project, that we can't do it without Nick's help, without Helen's help, without Sarah coming in and managing an event, without Mick making sure we're not spending too much money and Alex making sure that we're, you know, marketing things right. We can't do it without everyone, so we all play our own little part in that, and it's good to be able to, again, to kind of adapt to the people that are around you and make sure that you can get the best out of everyone. It's not necessarily a skill, but we'll all come back to it and say it's that passion and interest in what you're doing and making sure that you are on top of your game. You know, you have your finger not just kind of on the pulse but ahead of it almost, so you can sort of predict where things might go, the kind of issues you might face, and being able to problem solve and kind of think fast and be adaptable. And if you can do those things, you don't need to do them all at once or all at the same time, but there will be different parts of your day where they'll all come into play. So I think those are kind of the key areas I would look for.
So Hannah sort of went for mostly like communication and interpersonal skills. Nick, are there any ones that you utilise in your role that are different to that?
Yes and no. I think those kind of what you probably classify as soft skills are incredibly important in any kind of management role in any industry, especially in the creative industries. The creative industries, fundamentally your product is kind of empathy and human understanding. So if you can't have that and utilise that within your role, then you're not going to get very far. I guess what I bring is, like, as I touched on, I've worked for 20 odd years in very different industries and settings. I've worked for social services, I've worked for big blue chip pharmaceutical companies, I've done all kinds of different things. But I think the most important thing with any skill set is always thinking like, right, well, I know how to do this in this setting. I understand how to do this in this context. How can I apply that to the context that I'm now in? It's about being adaptable and being able to like adapt your focus and go, right, well, I solved that in that way. This is a problem. This is what's similar about it. So I can apply that and I can change this bit, and then that's how I solve this problem. Yeah, maybe that's my skill. It's that kind of adaptability and ability to change.
Being versatile is really important for the creative industries. Earlier, Alex, you said about being creative is really important, obviously, for the creative industries. Is that what you would say is the most important skill to have if, say, a student was looking to join the industry?
Yes, and I was going to say yes and no, because there is a myth, and this is what I thought in college, was that the creative industries, whenever it was sort of mentioned, I thought, oh, you'll need to be able to like be a graphic, you'll have to do graphic design, or you have to be able to use Photoshop, and that I'm not interested in those things. And then on the tech side, it's like, oh, to be in the tech industry, I have to know how to code. Didn't know how to do that either. So it didn't seem like it was for me. But in reality, actually, there's a lot of my skills that are creative that I might not have realized were and that can be used. So I've got, I think, 3 top things that are really important in my role personally. And this is kind of speaking on the digital side of things as well. Having a proactive approach, because the creative and digital industries are changing every single minute of every day. That's one of the great things about it, and also one of the most annoying things about it, because you do have to keep up. But it's also exciting because it means that there's something new every single day, and you're always changing your approach to things, especially in things like marketing. Facebook algorithms change all the time. You have to keep up to date with this stuff so you know exactly where you're channeling your energy. Creativity obviously is very important, but you can practice creativity. There is no such thing as someone who isn't creative. Every single person is creative in some element. You might just not realize it. It's about finding out where you're creative. So, you know, for me, it's writing. And I always practice that through writing blogs, through writing articles. That's a great way of just like refining those creative skills. So once you find something that you enjoy doing, it's not necessarily that you're good at, but that you enjoy doing, because you can become good at anything if you know, practice enough at it. That's really important. And then finally, for my role specifically, it's combining that creativity with understanding things like analytics, understanding your audience, and making decisions, like making creative decisions based off of data. And again, that's something that you learn on the job. It's not something that you have to go, I need a degree in that, because you don't. I didn't get a degree in it, and yeah, I can do it. So yeah, it's a good combination of kind of having that sort of analytical side and then having the creative side, and merging those 2 things together.
Great, thank you. So just coming full circle, Nick, you just touched on the fact that you've done so many things, and kind of what do you think is the best place to start as a young person looking to join the Northeast creative industry?
I'm 40. There are a hell of a lot of opportunities for young people that just didn't exist when I was your age. You know, the internet barely existed when I was your age. You have the opportunity now, like the job market is incredibly hard. I'm not going to pretend that everything's great, but you do, if you can make yourself attractive to employers, if you can demonstrate that you care, that you have passion, that you're willing to work hard, you have the opportunity now to just go out and try things. Like, you don't have to say, right, well, that's going to be my career and that's what I'm going to do for the next 40 years. You can go and try things and see what fits you. Turn it into a buyer's market almost. Don't think about what employers want from you. Think about what you want from an employer. Think about what's going to make you happy. At the end of the day, you know, you work 40 hours of the week. That's a long time. You've got to find something that you love, and at the end of every day, you're not going, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And that's what the creative industries offers you. It's the opportunity to feel like you're a part of something that's in some, even in the smallest way, like a positive force in the world. You're not like making widgets to go inside of widgets.
You were talking about digital union. I think the key word in that is digital, and especially with the whole pandemic and things, digitalization has become really important, and to do in networking and things like that. What kind of opportunities do you think young people should try and seek out, be it networking events, placements, that kind of thing? What do you think are the most important things to look out for?
I think Alex touched on this. You know, the way Alex became a part of Generator was because she started coming to Generator events. She started building a network. She started getting herself known as someone who was talented and engaging and reliable. 3 incredibly important things. Start networking, start talking to people, start asking questions, find someone whose work you respect and reach out to them and say, hey, how did you get started in this? How do you do that? What's that thing? You'll find 90% of the time that people absolutely love talking about themselves. So they're always very happy to go, oh, Well, actually, thank you for asking. I'll tell you exactly how I did that. Do that, be engaged, be inquisitive.
And Mick, you've toured the world and done this and that. What do you have any advice or like the best place to start for young people, and what opportunities they should be seeking?
I think like everyone out of the team has touched on it, and networking is definitely the main thing for the creative industry. Every kind of band experience I've had, you know, I've been approached usually to join that band. And it's not necessarily even because I've been the best guitarist or best keyboardist going at that time. It's just that I've hung out with the right people, or I've made inroads into the right networks. And it's been the same with jobs. You know, the generator job, originally I was approached by the person who was running the organization at the time to get involved with the finances, because he knew what I was good at, because he'd heard that from the networks he was involved in. And creative people are kind of the most obsessive, diligent, hardworking people that you're likely to get working for your company. So if you've got a company like Generator, everyone in there is a creative at various different levels, but they're all really passionate about the creative and digital sector because of that reason. Even if you don't end up playing guitar or doing marketing or whatever, you could end up like I've done and doing accounts. But I'm not obsessive about making this company grow and be as best it can be for everyone in the creative sector, that I'm going to work hard at that and be better at it, you know.
Lovely. And is there anything specific for the Northeast bar using Digital Uni? I probably should have asked Nick that, but you can answer if you have an answer, Nick.
I think at the moment it's difficult because a lot of the way I know, and I would say Nick, anyone on the teams probably say the same, is there's a big network of these creatives, whether it be the digital sector, whether it be musicians, whether it be other forms of the arts. And you tend to bump into them in the same creative sectors of bars and places to hang out and going to gigs and events. They all seem to be little clusters in the same places. And to be honest, I can't give you an answer purely because of lockdown, because I would find it really difficult to network in the same way outside of something like Digital Union. There is an event that we run that I can never pronounce correctly. So I'm going to let Nick tell you what that is.
No, try.
Nimimu?
Yeah,
there you
enough.
go. Something like that. That's the one.
Thank you. And Hannah, do you have anything else? Please don't say networking. Is there anything else? I'm sure we all know about networking now.
The way that I got into creative industries was through my degree, which was in geography. And I came at this from a completely different angle of, actually, I'm really keen on the kind of economic impact of, you know, what music, what the art brings to a place. And I figured out that the things that I cared about were music and culture, and also the Northeast, particularly at that point Sunderland. Kind of digging around, and I kind of sort of got to realise that there was more to this than what I expected, and that there was more opportunities out there than what I could ever imagine. But you have to kind of carve your way in there. I'm not going to bang that networking drum again, but there's a lot about making yourself known to people for the right reasons and in the right ways. So when you're presented with an opportunity, just like you and Pipa have done here, where you were offered the chance to have a work placement, take it, do it, because you'll meet some people. I'm not saying that we're the best people.
You are the best people.
Great, thank you. That is the endorsement I was after. But you'll get to meet people and you'll get to learn and understand. And I think one of the things about the creative industries, like they said, that they're changing all of the time. And so you need to be constantly learning. And I think it's an opportunity to keep doing that within this sector, which is amazing, and which means it's always interesting, it's always exciting. And I think if you're a young person who's looking for a specific career, then go and talk to people, go and ask those questions, go and be a bit annoying and be like, I want answers to this thing, and be a bit ballsy and stand out and kind of, put your shoulders back and chest out and show some confidence and say, look, I want to do this. One of the things that we do at Generator, it's predominantly about talent development, and I'm quite passionate about that in terms of everything. So as a team, I'm quite keen on seeing our staff develop as in their own roles. Quite recently, someone asked me about, what would you do if someone came along and asked you, how do I get your job? And I'd be like, actually, I don't want that person to know my story. I want that person to say, I'm going to get your job. And not only am I going to get your job, I'm going to do it better than you. Because what's the point in having another one of me or another one of Sarah or another one of Alex? We want the next generation of people to come along and do it better. You're going to be more relevant and more appropriate. You're going to know other things to what we know as much as we can try and keep up to date and stuff like that. We just, that's just the way the world works. So I think have some confidence in your own ideas and your own opinions. Be bold, be brave, see where it gets you. I'm pretty sure if you can go out there and start to carve some of those routes for yourselves, then you can quite easily make it.
Just one more thing before we wrap up. You were just talking about transferable skills then and coming from geography, and I was just wondering, just going to put you all on the spot, and that if you could just sum up one word or a little sentence about advice for someone coming into the industry, what would it be? We'll start with Alex.
It's gonna be tough. It will be. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, especially right now. I thought it was tough enough when I started 4 years ago, let alone, in current times. It is worth it, and your hard work will pay off. I know that's longer than a sentence, but it's really important that I get this across, because there were so many times where I almost gave up, where I literally just broke down because I just couldn't see a way in. I just didn't think that anyone would believe in me. And honestly, like when you hit that point, you know that you're close. You know you're almost there. So just keep going, keep trying, keep connecting with people. Yeah, just keep being proactive.
Great, thanks. Helen, do you have any advice?
Give something a go, even if you feel like you maybe not qualified to do it, but it's something you're interested in. Just give it a go. Like the first ever creative things that I dabbled in when I was like at college, and like be prepared to fail as well. Like the first things I did, I've been putting on gigs, and I did a hospital radio show. It was probably the first properly creative thing I did. Like it's a really weird thing to do, but if I had, it was probably terrible. I don't think anybody in hospital wanted to hear my tunes when I was 16, but I did it, and it gave me the foundations to know a bit about, the tech side of production and how to do those sorts of things. So yeah, just give it a go and be prepared to maybe do a bad job sometimes.
Thank you. Mick?
Sell yourself, because people at the end of the day are buying into you. They're not buying into your skill set. They're not buying into what's on your CV. As soon as you're at an interview, they're listening to what you're selling. And that's it.
Spot on. Thank you.
Kind of similar to what Helen's just said, but I've been thinking about this a lot recently when I've been speaking to young people directly. It's something my dad always used to say to me, and I hated it every time he said it, but it's so true. Never rule yourself out of anything. There's enough people out there to rule you out of things. Don't do it to yourself. If you fancy a job or if you fancy an opportunity, just go for it. Because you never know, might turn out you're the right person for it.
Great, thank you. Hannah?
I think the term you're looking for is shy then. Put yourself forward for things, say yes, take opportunities when they come your way. It might turn out to be a wrong move. It might turn out to be a bit rubbish. It doesn't really matter, because it's all another string to your bow. It's all a learning curve. Go for it.
Sarah?
Try and surround yourself by people who want to see you develop, who actually believe in what you're doing and can like be really reaffirming in that. If that's not in like your workplace, because you might be in a workplace where those people might not necessarily be around you, but then make those the people that kind of you spend time with outside of your work. Actually, if you look for it, that there's a lot of people around that want to help you develop and want to help you be better. And that can be like one of the most positive things to surround yourself with.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks to all of the Generator team for your wise words of wisdom and advice. It was great. Don't forget to subscribe to the Newcastle University Careers YouTube channel. Like, comment, and any questions below. Also, head over to NCL Careers on Instagram this week for more of the Creative Careers 2021. Thank you.